So here's the first world problem I'm going to fix today with home automation. That switch right down there comes on pretty easily, which is good because it lights up the hallway. It's got these lights on above me that you see right there. The downside to this is anytime we're watching TV or hanging out watching a movie in the evening, anybody moves a little bit too much and these lights come on. So one of us has to get up and turn the lights off. So I'm hoping I can fix that with a Z-Wave automation switch. Alright, so now that the switch is all installed, we're going to go ahead and turn on the Z-Wave antenna in Hubitat, and I'll see if I can pair up the switch. To do this, I'm going to go to Settings, Z-Wave Details. Alright, looks like Z-Wave is already enabled, so let's just go ahead and see if we can get our device added. To do that, I'm going to go to Devices and Add a Device, click on Z-Wave, and start Z-Wave inclusion. Now, according to the switch instructions, I got to push the two buttons on the switch to get it into pairing mode, so I'll do that. And that has got it paired up successfully, so I'm going to go ahead and name that. And I'm going to click on Next, and we're going to put that into close enough to the theater room, so we'll put it there, and we'll click on Next. So that should be it. The switch is now added into my Hubitat. So alternatively, you can do this on the switch as well, configure any of the options, but this is a much more user-friendly way to do it, is to just go into here and change the options I want. Alright, so there's a couple advantages to having this in Hubitat versus just buying a motion-sensitive switch. First off, if we go onto Devices and we find that switch, you can see I can change the options for that switch here, so that's kind of nice. The plus to this as well is I can turn this to manual and leave the automatic settings on the switch completely alone and just change it to whatever I want, or I can also build this into an automation. A good example for this would be if I go into a rule machine and anytime my home theater setup is on, I can just disable that switch. Now alternatively, you can also use the motion sensor inside this switch for automations as well. So if we look at rule machine, and we're just going to make a sample rule just to play around with here, you can go to that switch and you can use that switch as a motion sensor to trigger any automations that you want as well. And if you want to use this as a baseline for a home security, if you have a bunch of these switches installed, you can very easily get notifications to your phone. So if the basement hallway switch reports some motion, we can easily add a new action to send a message, "Motion, no!" And we can send it to our Pushover app, which is connected to both mine and the wife's phones, and that'll immediately alert us if there's motion at that device. So you can use this in a multiple of different ways. It's kind of just up to your imagination to how you want to deal with this. Currently, the 5-second on and off timer is actually working pretty good. We tried that for a couple of days, so I'm going to leave that as my first world fix. In the future, I might actually take and build in an automation for it that it does not turn on when we're watching movies. The downside is if somebody's got to stop for a bathroom break, now that dark hallway no longer lights up at all. If you want to learn more about the Pushover and how to automate that inside your own Hubitat, you can click on the video. I'll throw it up on the side here, and you can learn about Pushover.